Good morning, everyone. My name is Alfred Khaziwa. I'm based in Kimberley in the Northern Cape in South Africa. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm also a grandfather. I do have an 8 to 5 job. And I'm looking forward to setting up a World Transformation Center in Kimberley that will enable me to work for this movement to contribute towards a better world, to contribute towards a transformed world, and a transformed way of living. It has quite been a remarkable journey for me with this information from Jeremy Griffith, who is an Australian biologist, who shared this life-saving information with all of us. I truly believe that this is the information that we have all been waiting for as human beings, as it answers all our questions that we had about life, about who we are. And it also clearly tells us what we need to do to live a meaningful and integrative life. And I know that since I have immersed myself into this information, I am a totally different person now. I see life differently. I'm more at peace with myself. I'm also more at peace with other people. I am excited to share this with everyone because it is life-saving. It is blissful. It is a new dawn. And I cannot begin to imagine the transformation that will occur throughout the world. For me, I landed this information quite by accident, if you like. I saw the interview on Facebook, which really caught my attention. And in this interview, Jeremy was explaining the human condition. Now, that is why we humans behave so badly. Why are we so inhuman, competitive, and destructive? And he was claiming that he has an answer to the why are we the way that we are, and that really caught my attention. Because I've been brought up in a religious Christian family, and but also at school, my view was, life is about survival of the fittest. We need to look after ourselves and to try and survive. But yeah, and for me, Jeremy was making these bold claims, which initially were shocking to me. And as it went, against all of that I've learned throughout life. So after listening to the interview, I went back again to the World Transformation Movement Facebook page. And I read some of the articles there, and I also read some of the comments from the members of the World Transformation Movement. And that really, caught my attention. And then I started to download Jeremy's book, Freedom, The End of the Human Condition. Initially, like most of us, I think I also struggled a bit with the information. But this was just, for me, also too good to ignore. Initially, too good to be true, but then also, too good to ignore. So that's when I started to immerse myself into this information. And then finally, I reached a big breakthrough, and where this information started to make really sense for me. It was like a sudden breakthrough for me when the truth and the reality and the impact of this information just dawned on me. So yeah, and then I also ordered the book, Jeremy's book, Freedom, on Amazon. I have the book. If I can show you the book that I have been reading, and yeah, that has been my journey, and this book has really been life-saving for me. It answered all the questions that I have had about life since growing up as a child up to now. I had so many questions, and life in itself was, bewildering for me. So, for me as a human being, what is my purpose? What am I doing here? And where am I going after all this? And what was key for me, what was transformative for me, was that all those questions have been answered. Have been answered with so much clarity. Your questions answered about religion, about politics, about relationships, and also, the questions that adolescent children have about life, the things that they are struggling with in life. All those things are unpacked, they are clarified for all of us. And the relief that it brings, to everyone, because it is with understanding that we change. Humans want to understand. That's why initially it's what we have all been doing as human beings on this planet Earth, to gain an understanding in terms of who are we, and, what are we doing here, and where are we going. And I think for me, those are the most difficult questions that have faced human beings on planet Earth. And with those questions having been answered with such clarity, it's simply transformative beyond imagination. It changes the way we have been living. Nothing will be the same again. Nothing can be the same again after gaining this understanding. You can relate better to people. You now understand what people are going through, and I can empathize with them, and I cannot judge them, because that has been our journey as human beings on planet Earth. We have been walking in the dark, wandering, not knowing what we are doing, where we are going. That has impacted our behavior, because we were suffering from the human condition. We have behaved destructively over the years, over the centuries, and the planet Earth around us, we see the destruction, the chaos that we have been responsible for as human beings. But as Jeremy explains, is that was inedible. We had to embark on this journey when we became fully conscious, as we went out in search for knowledge and understanding. I mean, if I try to internalize that, that must have been a very bewildering journey for us humans. It must have been very scary. It must have been deeply sickening and troublesome. But now we have Jeremy, who has put this information before us and telling us why things have been the way they have been, and that with this knowledge and understanding that Jeremy so clearly explains in his book Freedom, there will be no need for any of us to continue as we did in the past. You will simply be transformed, and it's simply so big that you also cannot sit with this information and not try and share it with others. You are just compelled to share this so that it can bring the relief, so that others can share in the joy. Others can share in the relief that you have experienced and are experiencing. I think the first step for all of us would be to listen to the interview, Jeremy's interview on the WTM website. It is key and a key introductory step for all of us. And then I would also recommend that we all try and read what Jeremy refers to as the death effect. I mean, we have been the way that we are, living the way that we are as human beings for over 2 million years. So all this, all of a sudden, changes everything, and it just turns what we know about lives, it turns it upside down. What we thought we knew about life, what we thought we knew about everything on planet Earth, some of this information just turns that upside down, and obviously, the information will be confronting. It will be difficult to process, but once you have dealt with the death effect, the clarity just dawns. It's like just switching on a light in a dark room. Once you overcome the death effect, but for some people it can happen quickly. For some people it will mean that you have to read and go back and go back again to the information to try and understand it properly. But once it dawns on you, you will immediately on the spot, it will make a huge change, a huge positive change. You will feel the relief, mentally, physically, spiritually, if I can use that word as well. You will just feel that relief throughout your being, and you will be transformed. There's no way you will remain the same again. Yeah, so this is very exciting. I think I'm still processing this, but the excitement is just immense. The relief is immense. The clarity is immense. It's just blissful. So I hope everyone receives this gift of life that has been shared with us by Jeremy. And I cannot thank Jeremy enough for all that he has done for humanity. I honestly believe from the bottom of my heart that this is what we have all been waiting for. Yeah. And we will support everyone to get this information and ensure that this information reaches everyone out there. And that is what I am committing to do from now going forward. Thank you.